Hello. I'll be there in 1 second. Hey, happy Sunday. Happy Sunday. November 2. And it is, what do they say? Daylight savings time. So I was downstairs making my coffee and my stove set 11 o'clock. And I was a little perplexed. I was a little worried that I was not right in my timing today, but it looks like my phone was right, but my oven was wrong. So yay. So today we're going to do Mary E. Wilkins Freeman. I hope you guys have enjoyed this month. I think I'm going to do a video showing all the art I made for Inktober. It's a thought bubble. You know I spend a lot of time with the record button on, so it kind of sometimes doesn't like inspire me to do more, but I love making videos, so I think that would be a fun one to do. Hey, Roblox. No, you are not late, baby. I am late. I am late. But I'm here, and hooray. 10:13. Let's do this. Okay, we're going to do... Oh, I made coffee today. Here's my coffee. Cheers. I got to have a sip of my coffee. I haven't had any of it yet, honestly. Excuse my slurps. Speaking of coffee, so let's just talk for a second about coffee. I saw in my YouTube thing, like all the videos that you like to watch, all of the creators that you follow. I follow a coffee guy, and there's a new video about the price of coffee. So that's exciting, but not in a good way, because coffee's already expensive. I don't want to pay more for coffee. So, good thing I like tea, although tea is not cheap either. But, I mean, you can get, it depends on the kind of tea you get. Anyway, all right, let's do Mary Eleanor Wilkins Freeman. Let's see. She is on Wikipedia. She is on Quotations by Women. Is she on Librivox? I bet she is. Let's see. Sad and creepy cemetery. Hey, yesterday we did Zora Neale Hurston, and it was it the longest one I've ever done? I think it may have been. Where are we going? We are going to Librivox. It may have been my longest one. We did a really cool, I like the art. Oh, what am I doing? This is not, I don't want to look at an image. I want to go to Librivox. Free public domain audiobooks. If you don't know about Librivox, hey, listen to some books for free on Librivox. Let's go to Mary E. Wilkins. Let's just look up Mary Freeman and see if that does it. Mary Freeman. Let's see. Okay. Let's see. Mary E. Wilkins Freeman, 6 books. Yes. And also, yep. Okay. She did a lot of ghost stories. So here we are. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. She's got 7, 8. She got a lot, actually. More than just 6. It says 6. And then on this page it says total matches 50. So have at it. If you want to listen to some Mary E. Wilkins Freeman ghost stories, have at it. It's free on Librivox. So let's go to our Wikipedia page. And before we do that, I just want to show you real quick, real quick, as I am fond of saying, what I did yesterday. Every heart has its graveyard. This was Zora Neale Hurston. She has a fascinating story. It's so, I'm just going to say it. It's so depressing to hear about how amazing these people are. During their life, all the challenges they face and all the things that they are able to push through and do, and who they're able to be, and what they're able to accomplish. And then like then they like die destitute and like in an unmarked grave. You know what I mean? It's just like enough already. It's just so, and that's life, baby. That's life. So it's very, it's been like, it's almost like putting yourself, it's almost like, I almost would liken it to like feeling like, you know, those true crime YouTubers. It almost feels a little bit like that. Like constantly hearing, not like that. Not like that. Definitely not like that. Like for real like that. But you know, it's like a lot to listen to every day, to be like, oh my gosh. And then this person died and that person died and this person got sick and then they, you know, died destitute. You know what I mean? And it's just like, wow. Wowzers. So it's kind of wild. I really like this one. And I'm really enjoying this style with the water and with the brush and with the ink splotches and with the looseness. It just like opens up so many ideas while I'm working. And then, you know, just whatever I grab on my desk, like here I used a paper towel to just like smudge, and then I just used a brush to make some drops, and you know, I like it. And here my pen was dry. Okay, this, I'll save this chat for my video because we don't need to talk about that right now. But today we're going to do Mary Eleanor Wilkins Freeman, and I'm just going to put this page up so you guys can enjoy looking at it while I draw, because it's nice to have something to look at besides my Wikipedia page, right? Cheers. Cheers, cheers, cheers. Okay, let's do this. And I think today's should not be like 5 million hours long. Although, okay. Yeah, it's not that long. This is not that long. I mean, I know it looks long to you, but in terms of reading it, I think it's going to be okay. Okay, let's just move forward, shall we? Mary Eleanor Wilkins Freeman. Let's do this. Mary Eleanor Wilkins Freeman, October 31, 1852. She was born on Halloween. That's awesome. Oh my gosh. Oh, it would have been cool to do her on Halloween. October 31, 1852. March 13, 1930 is when she died. So 80-ish years. She died at age 77. Oh, she was in Massachusetts. She was born in Randolph, Massachusetts. She's best known for her novel Pembroke, and also wrote a number of well-regarded ghost stories. Okay, biography. Freeman was born in Randolph, Massachusetts on October 31st, 1852 to Eleanor Lothrop and Warren Edward Wilkins, who originally baptized her Mary Ella. Oh, her father was a descendant of Bray Wilkins. Do we need to know who Bray Wilkins is? Should we click in and just quickly see? Because he was a patriarch and founder of Middleton, Massachusetts. Bray's origins are not concretely known and are supplanted and probably distorted by familial tradition. However, his reputation was already prolific in the Massachusetts Bay Colony decades before his death. His progeny, the Wilkins family, had a strong presence in the area. Bray and his family were prominent figures in some Salem witch trials. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Wow. Okay. Well, that's an interesting little twist of history there. I haven't heard any Salem witch trials in any of our Inktober yet. And now I just did, and today's November 2, so kind of wild. Okay, so that's the family. That's the family he came from. He's a descendant of Bray Wilkins, who was potentially connected to the Salem witch trials. Okay. Freeman's parents were Orthodox Congregationalists, and her upbringing was very strict. Religious constraints play a key role in some of her works. Not surprising, right? Because with a lot of the Gothic writers, They did. Some of them had some very strong religious beliefs. And, you know, religion usually figured in some prominent way, in some way, in their family. Hi, Nanya. Hi, and also bye. Thanks for the drive-by. It's so good to see you. Happy Sunday. It is the day to switch your clocks. I thought all my phones and everything were messed up, but it was my oven clock that was messed up. Okay, let's keep going here. In 1867, the family moved to Brattleboro, Vermont, where Freeman graduated from the local high school before attending Mount Holyoke College. Then it was called Mount Holyoke Female Seminary, and that's what it was. In South Hadley, Massachusetts, for 1 year, from 1870 to 1871. She later finished her education at Glenwood Seminary in West Brattleboro when the family's dry goods business in Vermont failed in 1873. The family returned to Randolph, Massachusetts. Freeman's mother died 3 years later, and she changed her middle name to Eleanor in her memory. Oh, that is so touching. And her name was Ella anyway. It was Mary Ella Wilkins, right? So now she's Mary E. So she just switched out the Ella E for the E and Ella for the E and Eleanor, right? Okay. So that's sweet. I mean, that's kind of an interesting little, sweet note. But, mother died 3 years later. Okay. So if let's see where we are. She was born in 1852. 1872. Okay, so she's 20. When the family's dry goods business in Vermont failed in 1873, the family returned to Randolph, Massachusetts. Freeman's mother died 3 years later, so she died at 26. Her mother died when Mary was 26, and she changed her middle name to Eleanor in her memory. Freeman's father died suddenly in 1883, leaving her without any immediate family and an estate worth $973. Wilkins returned to her hometown of Randolph. She moved in with a friend, Mary J. Wales, and began writing as her only source of income. Wow. Okay. And no siblings, huh? Only child, I guess. No siblings. Okay, I'm just scanning. I just don't want to miss anything. So she went to Mount Holyoke Female Seminary. And now then they went back. Okay, the Vermont business failed. She went back to Randolph, and now she's alone. Okay. She's alone, and she moved in with her friend Mary J. Wales and began writing. During a visit to Metuchen, New Jersey in 1892, so that would make her 52, 92, 40? Is she 40? So we have like a whole 15 years that we're not even, no. Her father died suddenly in 1883, so she was 30-ish. Yeah, she was like 31. 31, she moved back to Randolph. She moved in with Mary J. Wales. Sorry, guys. Sorry about this. I'm piecing it as I'm spelling it out, speaking it. She moved in with her friend and began writing at 31. During a visit to Metuchen, New Jersey in 1892, she's 40 now, she met Dr. Charles Manning Freeman, a non-practicing medical doctor 7 years younger than she. After years of courtship and delays, the two were married on January 1, 1902. So she got married at age 50. And let's see. Immediately after, she firmly established her name as Mary E. Wilkins Freeman, which she asked Harper's to use on all her work. Harper's, I believe, was a magazine. Let's see. Harper's Magazine. Okay. Harper's Magazine, and it started in 1850, so it was well established by the time she was working with them. Cheers. Okay. The couple built a home in Metuchen, where Freeman became a local celebrity for her writing. Despite having occasionally published satirical fictional representations of her neighbors, her husband suffered from alcoholism and an addiction to sleeping powders. Oh, that's terrible. He also had a reputation for driving fast horses and womanizing. Okay, so I guess you don't need a car to drunk drive, right? He was committed to the New Jersey State Hospital for the Insane in Trenton, and the two legally separated a year later. Oh. After his death in 1923, he left the majority of his wealth to his chauffeur and only $1 to his former wife. Huh. Wow. That must have been a very tumultuous relationship, and I don't think that they fully gave us the whole rundown here. Of course, this page could be a heck of a lot longer. And maybe I'm missing something? No, I'm not. Okay. So, you know, sometimes there's just not a lot on people. Right? So, let's see. Okay, and we're still doing her overview. So, we have a little bit left to do on, you know, we're going to do her adolescence and then her writing. Okay, so her husband was an alcoholic and a drug addict, and he had a reputation for cheating on her and for drunk driving with horses, which would be just devastating if you crashed, right? I mean, yeah. Okay, he left the majority of his wealth to his chauffeur and only $1 to his former wife. So that was just a statement, right? He's just like, you get $1, because maybe he was like, maybe he's just bitter. Maybe he's just a bitter guy. Okay. In April 1926, Freeman became the first recipient of the William Dean Howells Medal for Distinction in Fiction from the American Academy of Arts and Letters. Ooh. Freeman suffered a heart attack and died in Metuchen on March 15th, 1930, age 77. She was laid to rest in Hillside Cemetery in Scotch Plains, New Jersey. Okay, so let's read about her adolescence here. And I just want to make sure that... Oh! Whoa, sorry guys. Oh my god. Oh, my apologies. Let's do this. Make sure that we're... Okay, wow, that doesn't happen very often. That was dramatic. I just want to make sure you're stuck on here. Okay, good. Let's do this. I just want to make sure you can see the page. Oh, sorry about that. Okay, let's see. As an adolescent, Freeman was increasingly caught between the need for her mother's love and her instinct to avoid becoming her mother, and subsiding into her mother's form of passivity. Despite continuous pressure from her mother to participate in domestic chores, no amount of discipline could pull Mary away from her reading to the reality of hated kitchen work. According to Edward Foster's biography of Freeman, disliking her household duties, she avoided them, nor could she be moved by disciplinary tactics. Okay. It is clear that a growing tension between Mary and her mother centered on her resistance to undertaking the tasks is expected of a good girl. A good girl. Quote, unquote. As the years passed, the contrast between Mary and her sister... Hey, wait a minute. What? I didn't hear about any siblings. Okay. As the years passed, the contrast between Mary... I guess question answered, right? As the years passed, the contrast between Mary and her sister Anna became apparent. While her sister Anna willingly undertook domestic work and increasingly met her parents' expectations, Mary began quietly to reject them. She would resist her mother's world of domesticity throughout her entire life. Her story, The Revolt of Mother, that's what it's called, is especially significant in this context, for the story seems to have been written as a tribute to her mother's work, a form of work she had never valued in her mother's lifetime. Okay, so this is adding a new shade of complicated to the fact that she changed out her middle name Ella for her mother's name. But it's also making me think that maybe there's some facetiousness to that or something. I don't know. We got to keep reading though. Freeman began, here she is. Hi, my name is Mary Wilkins Freeman. Image of Mary E. Wilkins Freeman, scanned from her front piece of her novel Jane Field, published in 1892. Here she is. Let's get a good look. Hi, Mary. Okay. This is when she met her guy 10 years before she got married. So 1892, she was born in 52, so she's 40 here. Okay. Freeman began writing stories in verse for children while still a teenager to help support her family and was quickly successful. Her career as a short story writer launched in 1881 when she took first place in a short story contest with her submission, The Ghost Family. When the supernatural caught her interest, the result was a group of short stories which combined domestic realism with supernaturalism, and these have proved very influential. Her best-known work was written in the 1880s and 1890s when she lived in Randolph. She produced more than 24 volumes of published short stories and novels. She's also best known for 2 collections of stories, A Humble Romance and Other Stories, 1887, and A New England Nun and Other Stories, 1891. Her stories deal mostly with the New England life. Freeman is also remembered for her novel Pembroke, 1894, and she contributed a notable chapter to the collaborative novel entitled The Whole Family in 1908. Though her different genres of work including children's stories, poems, and short stories, Mary Wilkins Freeman sought to demonstrate her values as a feminist. During the time which she was writing, she did this in non-conventional ways. For example, she diverged from making her female characters weak and in need of help, which was a common trope in literature. Through characters such as Louisa in her short story, A New England Nun, Freeman challenges contemporary ideas concerning female roles, values, and relationships in society. Also, Freeman's short story, The Revolt of Mother, illustrated, and check it out the way it's written too, the revolt of, and then mother. Okay? So we have a little bit of an extra, what are those things called again? Parentheses? I don't know. Not parentheses. Quotations. Hey, my coffee hasn't fully, absorbed yet. What can I say? Also, Freeman's short story, The Revolt of Mother, illustrated the struggles of rural women and the roles they played within their families. The Revolt of Mother initiated the discussion on the rights of rural women, went on to inspire many more pieces discussing the lack of control rural women had over families' finances and looking to improve the structure of farm families in the early 20th century. The one-act opera, The Village Singer, by Stephen Paulus, was adapted from a Freeman's short story. It was commissioned by Opera Theater of St. Louis and was premiered in 1979. Okay. Thanks for letting me know. Wikipedia. Although she produced 12 volumes of short stories and as many novels, Freeman is remembered chiefly for the first 2 collections of stories, A Humble Romance and Other Stories, 1887, and A New England Nun and Other Stories, 1891, and the novel Pembroke, 1894. So we already read that. Why did they? Okay. Okay, maybe they just needed to repeat that because we were just in the section rating. All right, so guys, okay, I feel a little bit unsatisfied personally because there's so much more to this story. I'm not getting fully what I wanted. I'm now used to getting details, information, the in between the cracks. You know what I mean? So let's do just a tiny bit of just a smidge. I'm not going to spend too much time on this, but let's just do like a teeny little smidge of Googling, just a smidge. And we can see if we can find some more summary internet speculative fiction database. Shall we try this? Or there's 5 reasons to read Mary E. Wilkins Freeman today. Let's do this one and look. And if we don't get anything off that, we're going to jump to the other one. Okay. This looks very dense. Okay. Since the heyday of recovery, scholars are turning to Freeman for different and equally exciting reasons. Her work is rich enough to resist many of the frames that have brought her back into visibility, and by rereading her, We are continually intrigued by her ability to proffer new experiences and insights. Our essay collection, New Perspectives on Mary E. Wilkins Freeman, Reading with and Against the Grain, develops these new directions. Here are 5 reasons to read Freeman today. Let's do this. Ooh, thank you. Thank you, Stephanie Palmer, Murdo Drizzo, and Cecile Rideau. This is reading from the page euppublishingblog.com, Edinburgh University Press, from March 27, 2023. And I am going to put the link to this in the description, okay? And this, I'm reading this by fair use. This is just fair use. So, all right, number 1. In Freeman, the fictional rural New England is not always a nurturing and anti-patriarchal realm. Freeman depicts this realm as a source of confinement, ignorance, and suffocation in some of her stories. Okay. Such as The Old Woman Magoon, 1905, The Reign of the Doll, 1904, or The Lost Ghost, 1903. While in others, such as Prism, 1901, or Evelina's Garden, 1896, it is a space of dissent and erotic encounter. Donna M. Campbell's contribution to the volume dares to label Freeman's strong women as criminals. H.G.E. Champion describes Freeman's portrayals of girls as a locus of resistance to heterosexuality. In contrast, Jana Tigchler and Susan M. Stone emphasize the constructive aspects of bonding between human and non-human neighbors. Like animals? Like pets? I don't know. I need more info. I mean, I don't... This is like, we're just scanning. I'm just jumping into this. So I'm not getting contextual clues from that. So I don't know. Freeman was an eco-critical writer. Stone shows how Freeman showcases fictional eco-feminist protagonists who confront environmental irresponsibility and restrictive views on gender. Cecil Rideau reads Freeman's eco-collections Understudies, 1901, and Six Trees, 1903, out of the delimited historicism of her time, examining impulses in her fiction in which trees, cats, and horses communicate with humans across the culture-nature binary. Okay. So I think what's happening here is we're hearing that she is communicating with the animals, like Dr. Dolittle style. So yeah, like on another plane, right? Like when you talk to your cat and your cat understands you, like that. That's what I'm getting. Okay. Freeman resonates with world literature. That's number 3. Murdo Drizzo places her deviant maternal figures alongside those of the contemporaneous Greek writer Alexandros Papadimontis. Reading Freeman against the backdrop of the Irish presence in New England, Astra Paula Skeen examines the Catholic tropes in her fiction, which are gonna always be there, right? They're always gonna be there in this time frame, in New England, in Ireland, even, everybody has their religion. Everybody has some religious influence, whether they are a party to it or not. It's somewhere in the mix, and they're either with it or against it, for lack of a better, word. They're either writing defying or they're writing to support. It's just interesting, right? It's just life. It's just life and socio-cultural stuff. Stephanie Palmer argues that Freeman was crucially influential over the maverick British writer Sylvia Townsend Warner. Okay, number 4 is the reasons why to read Freeman today. For anybody new, Freeman wrote fascinating novels as well as the more familiar short fiction. Neglected by earlier scholars because of their unevenness, her novels convey complex ideas less neatly worked out than in her short fiction. Justin Rogers Cooper and Laura Dawkins offer complimentary readings of her novel, The Portion of Labor, 1901, about a strike in New England shoe factory. Ooh. You know what would be cool? Oh gosh, this is giving me so many ideas for to do this for other things, right? Wouldn't it be cool to do one of these and then do some art for the Great Molasses Flood in Boston and for Salem witch trials, like just for these events, right? For events that were 200 years ago events and that happened that just shaped so much about our world today, but that you don't even see, you know, like you wouldn't know about it unless somebody, I mean, you would about the Salem witch trials, but okay, let's go back to this. Okay, let's see. Justin Robert Cooper offer complimentary readings of her novel, The Portion of Labor, 1901, about a strike in New England shoe factory. Their work makes clear just how gritty and class conscious this undeservedly erased novel is. Oh my gosh. Campbell reads Medellin. I hope I'm saying that right. 1896, a novel about race, criminality, and femininity. The eponymous mixed-race heroine admits to knifing a sexual assailant, but nobody believes her because she is coded as a respectable woman. Oh my gosh. So ahead of her time, right? Freeman Bridges, number 5. Reasons why we should read her now. Freeman Bridges, a realist/modernist divide. We challenge the consensus that Freeman's output waned after 1902, the date of her marriage to Charles Freeman. It has been accepted that her fears about being swallowed up by matrimony were well-founded, that her husband's abuse and alcoholism distracted her from ever producing good work again. But Freeman's production after 1902 deserves a closer look. Daniel Mrozowski reads 3 stories from Freeman's final story collection, Edgewater People, in 1918. In terms of the disenchantment, fragmentation, discontinuity, and transition that are associated with modern literature. World War I, he shows, proved a personal marker of change for Freeman as deeply as that felt by any other writer. Monica Elbert takes Freeman's late fiction seriously and finds within it the distractions and interruptions of modern life. Freeman's works are readily available in scholarly and in print-on-demand editions, and there is a nearly full list of her works at Wilkins Freeman Info and news about upcoming events at the Author Society website. All right. Let's give some props to the writers of this article, and let's read a little bit about this. New Perspectives on Mary E. Wilkins Freeman, Reading With and Against the Grain. That is what this is from. These Stephanie Palmer, Murdo Drizu, and Cecile Rideau wrote this book, or edited this book, and its byline, New Research on Freeman's Fiction that challenges and expands earlier feminist readings of the female realm. Freeman's is best known today for her short regionalist fiction. Recently, Freeman's studies have taken new turns, including eco-criticism, trauma studies, the Gothic and queer theory. This essay collection pushes these developments further, and you can order your copy if you want one. euppublishingblog.com. I will put the link in the description for this. I want to go to her Wilkins Freeman Info website. Oh, look at this. Oh my gosh, you can read anything here. I mean, you can do this also on Librivox, but here, and there's a site called Gutenberg, which I think it's called like the Gutenberg Project or something. And I'm sorry that my camera's in my face. Sorry, guys. The Gutenberg Project is this website. I think it's called the Gutenberg Project. And they have like books in the public domain that you can read. There's a link to it in some of my other Inktobers. In some of my other Inktobers, in some of the earlier ones, I have the Gutenberg link. And you can click in and you can read. It's kind of like they put a PDF online and you can just like flip through it. And then you can download it if you want, I think. So, but this looks like all of her stuff that you can just click in and read if you want to. So I just want to, let's just click in. Collected Ghost Stories. I just want to explore this just a tiny bit to see like what happens, right? Okay, so you just get a page full of text. You can read it. You can tell Siri to read it for you, whatever you want. That's cool. I love that. Okay. And then let's go to the Author Society website because there is a Mary Wilkins Freeman Society. Okay, look, we've learned so much today. I'm so excited because You know, that Wikipedia really just scratched the surface. Like, I got not very much. I didn't even know that she had a sibling until like far down the page. Usually that's something that you find out in the early part. So all right, let's see. Home about, so Mary E. Wilkins Freeman Society. My thoughts are coming out too fast for my mouth, right? So I'm like tripping over my tongue over here. So Mary E. Wilkins Freeman Society, home about, research, recent news, contact. All right, criticism. Let's see, about. I still want to read more about her life, but I don't think we're going to get there today because we're going to draw. We're going to draw now. Now we're going to go to our, let's go back. Okay. After this live is done, I will put all of this stuff. I will put everything in the description. Let's go to quotations by women. I had a good one on, I do have a good one on the page. On the, hold on a second. Let me go to my, I just want to go to my page. Kathy Weller Art. Hey, thank you guys for 6,400 followers, or not followers, subscribers. I just hit 6,400 and I'm super excited about it. I just want to grow and build community here, and every time, you know, I post something that's like my authentic content here that is not edited and that is just me, and I'm just sharing with you, and we're just doing art together. It just gives me like a happy. It just makes me so happy that you're interested. Okay. So thank you. So this is the, I had put a couple of, every day in Inktober almost, I had a little slide on my post page to help you if you wanted to draw along with me, you know, with a couple quotes or one quote or whatever I could find. Because it was kind of hard with the, I'm not going to sugarcoat it. Like, some of the Gothic authors, like, they're not known for, like, their, you know, soundbite quotes. You know what I mean? So, you know, I had to dig some of the time. But I think Mary E. Wilkins Freeman had some nice ones. Nobility of character manifests itself at loopholes when it's not provided with large doors. Oh, you know what would be cool? If she rewrote that as nobility of character manifests itself at keyholes when it's not provided with large doors. But, I mean, they're both good. I mean, that's great. And, you know, these days, like, how long are we going to even have keys in our doors? Probably not very long. Okay, here's another one. When a man or woman holds fast to youth, even if successfully, there is something of the pitiful and the tragic involved. Okay, this one was timely. You know, with like all the plastic surgery and stuff. When a man or woman holds fast to youth, even if successfully, there is something of the pitiful and the tragic involved. It is the everlasting struggle of the soul to retain the joy of earth, whose fleeting distinguishes it from heaven, and whose retention is not accomplished without an inner knowledge of its futility. Okay, speaking of that, there was this, there's this Instagram thing I saw where the guy was saying, it was like a reel. He says, you can, what does he say? You can be old, you can look old, or you can look weird. because you just look weird. You're just gonna look weird. You can look old, or you can look weird. As in, if you get all this stuff, then you're not gonna look young again. You're just gonna look a little bit alienish. But to each their owns, and everybody's doing it, right? So do your own thing. It's your body, your choice. Okay, let's see. Nobility of character. I hope I didn't offend anybody, by the way. That is not at all. That is not what I am intending. I'm actually fascinated by all that stuff. Not for myself, but just in general on a socio-cultural level, I think. Okay, let's do this. Any DVR? Is anybody still here? Did I just offend everybody out of the? Did I offend everybody away? Okay. All right. Hey, thank you guys for the thumbs ups. I appreciate it. You're awesome. You are awesome, and I appreciate you so much. Okay, let's draw. Right? What am I waiting for here? Any deviation from the ordinary course of life in this quiet town was enough to stop all progress in it. I like that. Oh my gosh, that's good. I'm just picking out a quote. Sometimes duties act on the soul like weeds on a flower. They crowd it out. Ooh, I like that one. Sometimes duties act on the soul like weeds on a flower. They crowd it out. Okay. Oh, that's kind of sad though. But I mean, really, we're talking about Gothic authors here. The cat was a creature of absolute convictions, and his faith and his deductions never varied. No matter how tired or wretched I am, a pussycat sitting in a doorway can divert my mind. Oh, that's because the kitty cat's talking to you. That kitty cat is saying, hey, go get me a snack. They had been happy and contented with that negative kind of happiness and contentment, which comes from, not from gratified ambition, but a lack of ambition itself. With that negative kind of happiness and contentment, which comes not from gratified ambition, but okay. No, I don't want that one. Well, I have one thing to be thankful for. The rooster that lived next door, that didn't know how to crow, but crowed all the same every 3 minutes, has been executed and cooked. So there are always mercies if we see them. Oh my gosh. I don't think that's a quote for everybody. No. Sometimes duties act. I like this one. And of course I'm seeing flowers. I'm seeing flowers. I think I should pick a quote and draw because it's 10:53. I got on here a little bit late. And we want to draw. Let's check the sound and make sure that... And we want to draw. Okay, we got some sound. Okay, good. I just gotta... Sometimes I gotta check in, you know, because I actually have a pretty much 100% success rate for myself when I have the setup this way with the sound. Thanks to my friend Debbie Draws Funny for her talking about her mic one day. We were having a Zoom, you know, just like a personal chat. I think FaceTime or something. And I'm like, hey, because I was really having some mic problems earlier on, and my just turning my chair up. Sorry, my lives were like sounding bad, and then I'm just looking for a flower book, and then I have a flower book. I have a million of them. And then what happened was Deb was like, hey, I have this one. And I'm like, wait a minute. I have that one too. Oh, and look at the book I pulled up. I pulled up the animals book. Should we do that rooster quote? No, that one was too controversial. I don't want to do that one because, you know, I mean, I kind of do, but maybe not on a live. Because it's very funny. It's very darkly funny. But I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that one for today, but I'm just going to find real quick. I'm just grabbing. Here. Oh, sorry. I just hit my mic. Let's just grab this. We have this fabulous book, A Guide to Familiar American... I just need a little reference, right? Just to just get out of my head a little bit. Just to look at some cute little flowers. And we're gonna do like real real loose. We're really loose today. We're just going loose. Let me zoom you a little bit. Like that maybe. How's that? Sometimes duties act on the soul like weeds on a flower. They crowd it out. Sometimes duties act. I'm going to put this book over here for now. I'm going to use my rock to tilt my paper up a little bit. And then do that. See if that works. Let's see, what do we want to... I'm just thinking about what words to emphasize. Sometimes duties act on a soul like weeds on a flower. They crowd it out. Duties. Sometimes duties. Let's just go in, shall we? How do I want to do this? Sometimes... I want to emphasize duties. I want to emphasize soul. Like weeds. And then I want to emphasize crowd. Like weeds on a flower. And then we're going to go crowd, okay? Sometimes duties, okay. Let's just make this look. I'm just going to spend a little time balancing the words first. Bring you a little closer like that. Weeds. And then crowd. Crowd really feels crowded, right? We want to make it feel smushed. They crowd it out. Sometimes duties act on the soul. Okay, let's start. Move this down. Just talking to myself, don't mind me. Just talking to myself. Sometimes duties. Act on the soul. Oh. I did make a little mistake. We're going to have to work with it though. Because this is ink. And ink is ink. Weeds on a flower. They crowd it out. Okay. That's not going to work. I'm going to have to start over, and this is only the second time this Inktober that I've had to do this. And I think I do have to start over because I don't have enough room to write the word flower. So I'm going to start at the bottom. We're going to do crowd. Really tight. Like that. And then flower. Generally, I like to try and work with little mistakes like that, but it's more challenging if I'm using ink and I don't really have any place to, I have nothing to, I can't erase it. I can't work over it. Like, this is it. This is all we're using. We're using ink, and ink is just a stain. Sometimes duties act on a soul like weeds on a flower. Let's do this weeds again. And we're just going to go with it. And that's okay if it's not, you know. I'm just happy I'm here. I'm just glad to be here. That's it. And we're just going in, you know? We're just going in and it's good. It's all good. Oh, excuse me. But I am going to do what I like to do, which is do some little weird things on my letters. Okay. Sometimes duties act on the soul. Let's do soul like this. To make soul feel very soulful. Sometimes duties act on the soul. Like. Let's do like. Right here, we're going to squeeze like in right here. Sometimes duties act on the soul. Like weeds on a flower. I need my napkin to wipe my nose. Ugh. I have the perpetual dripping nose now from, you know, I don't know. When did it start? September? Like weeds on a flower. Sometimes duties. Ooh. Oh boy. We're tight up here. Okay. All right. Well, it's okay. It's okay. It's okay. Let's see. Make sure that you can see what I'm doing here. Sometimes. Here, let's do this. We're going to do sometimes here. And it's okay. We're going to the top of the page. It's all right. It's all right. Sometimes. Oh, again. Okay. I'm having a day. But that's okay because we're going to solve this problem. Even though we're working in ink and we don't really have any recourse, it's going to be fine. You know why? I'm going to tell you why right now. Duties act on the soul. We're going to try and work with this. And I'm going to leave the top. If I do any color, I'm going to maybe leave the top white. So if I decide to repurpose this in any way, I won't be subjected to like a hard cut here. I can make it as long as I want. So that's, you know, if you were to do something like this and you're like, oh, I want to put this on a t-shirt or whatever, right? Just, if you run into this, leave it so you can move things, right? Don't do like ink on the background up here because then you're going to have a cut. Or you have to deal with that later. You don't want to do that. Sometimes duties, all right, how are we going to do duties here? Duties is going to be smushed in this little inch space. And it's going to just have to be act on the soul. Duties act on. Let's do it this way. Duties act on the soul. I'm going to do it like this. And we're just going to cross our fingers and hope for the best, okay? My main thing is I just want it to look not like, oh, that doesn't belong there. You know? Duties act on the soul. If I can get this to look, maybe if I stop talking. Let's do that over here. Sometimes duties act on the soul. Okay, we're gonna get there. I'm not making any judgment calls right now. We're just gonna keep going. We're gonna keep massaging this and letting the magic unfold, shall we? Because that's what happens. Like, we're gonna let the magic unfold here. That's what we're doing. I love it when the magic unfolds. I love it when you get little surprises. I love it when sometimes you make mistakes. And again, if I wasn't using ink, if I had any way to fix that page that I just changed over, I would have. I would have fixed it. I would have, because that's part of, that is part of it. That for me, that's just a huge, it's all a big conversation with yourself and how to fix problems. Okay, that's how to fix, like, problem solution, right? That's art. That's art, baby. That's art. And that's what I love. That's part of what I love about it. Even though, you know, it's challenging, but it's like these challenges that you give yourself because that's what you do. Because that's what it is. It's about solving problems that pop up. And I don't know. I don't really know if other people feel the same way, but that is for me huge. And when I was a kid, like a really young kid, and I always drew. It was just what I did, okay? And when I was really young, I had this like fixation, I will say, with, I'm going to zoom you because I want to make sure you have a better viewpoint. I'm going to turn the light up too. I think it might help. When I was really young, I had a fixation. Well, I had lots of fixations at different times, but one of my fixations was at one time that sort of just stuck around, I think, is when I would make a mistake in my art and my drawing or whatever, I would just try and fix it and not use an eraser. I had this challenge to myself to not use an eraser. And it was weird, right? Because, like, why would you do that? I just wanted to challenge myself. And I mean, I'm talking, I was young, like I was like a child. I just remember having this fixation with not using an eraser. Because we used a lot of pencils back then. Like pencils were just around. And I don't know where I got the fixation to not erase, but I would try to fix things instead of erase them, like when I was drawing. And it just sort of stuck with me. I don't know. I mean, obviously I use an eraser sometimes, of course, but that is just a lesson and a thing that I just still remember, and it's kind of a part of my whole philosophy with art now, you know, is like fix what you can fix. And it's always like a ongoing conversation, and it's always me dropping my phone. I dropped my phone again. Sorry guys. For some reason it doesn't want to stick today, right? Or maybe I'm just moving it around too much. There we go. Let's do this. Let's do that. How's that? Good? My apologies. Let's do this. How's that? That's better. Okay, I hope that's good. All right, let's get going on this. Sometimes duties act as, I think I'm talking too much here. Sometimes duties act on the soul like weeds on a flower. They crowd it out. They crowd it out. Do you not love this dirt that you get from this when it's a little dry, a lot dry? I love it. I love the dirt. Okay, now we're going to draw the little weeds. Here's the weeds. Here come the weeds. And we also have to write her name and the attribution at the bottom, so I don't want to forget about that. I could potentially accidentally, and I don't want to do that. So let's see. Let's do like a little weed thing here. Like that. And then we're going to write Mary E. Wilkins Freeman. I'm doing cursive. I'm actually going to zoom you in again and try not to knock my phone over so you can actually see what I'm doing, because it's a little far away over there, you know? Oops. I did it backwards then. I kind of like it though. So we're going to keep it in there. Well, it can't really go anywhere anyway because it's ink. We're doing ink here and you can't really go anywhere with that. So, and that's fine. I like it anyway. But I did not do that intentionally. So maybe that was like the art talking to me, right? Hey, maybe you should do a backwards N because that would be really bizarre. Yep, I think you were talking to me, art. Okay. Okay, so what do I want to do for the top? Because the top is more well developed than the bottom of this artwork here. Sometimes duties act on the soul. Okay, you're gonna like have this in your head for the rest of the day now, right? Because I keep saying it over and over, but this helps me to kind of get into it, you know? Helps me to get into the actual like meaning of it and all the different meanings of it potentially and all that. So I do like to roll it around quite a bit. Let's see. Sometimes duties act on the soul like weeds on a flower. They crowd it out. But sometimes they fertilize it, honestly. I really believe that, because I believe if I hadn't been so challenged years ago when I was working my full-time job, if I hadn't been so challenged by my what's the word I'm looking for? My desire to do something. What are we looking at? What are we looking at? We're looking at oh my gosh, I can't think of the word. It's because I'm like trying to use my art brain at the moment. Let me get up here. There we go. Ambition. Okay, ambition. There we go. See, I just had to get out of my head for a minute. Ambition. I had ambitions, and I think if I didn't have certain challenges, I do think challenges can fully inspire action. I really do. So I do really like this quote, but I also think it can work in the opposite way too. For sure. I do think you can be challenged by your challenges. You can be, inspired. You can be motivated by your challenges. You can be motivated by your challenges, motivated to prove them wrong, you know? I really do think there's something to that, you know? And it works the same way with, it works the same way if people think you can't do something. And you're like, really? Watch me, you know? And it's really true. I mean, I'm just speaking from experience. I'm not just laying on a bunch of toxic positivity. I'm speaking from experience. I'm not saying things are easy. They're not. Things are not easy. Things are really hard. That is the truth. But you know what? And it's like I say about working out, like exercising. You can be sore from not working out, or you can be sore from working out. You know, take your pick. You can be sore because you're sitting on the couch, or you can be sore because you just got back from the gym. So you just got to pick your poison, you know? Like, what do you want to do? This one's really making me happy, I have to say, because I really like to do quotes in this manner. This is like a classic, this is like one of my classic kind of template design type of deal here, which is like narratively, like telling a story kind of, but also decoration, like decorate words. The words are decorated like their meaning. and I really like that. I'm struggling a little, not struggling, but I'm questioning whether I should put a little face in the O of the soul, word soul. Like, do I want to go there? Do I want to do that? Or do I just want to do some more like spooky lines? I really don't know. And up here is a little dry, you know, like there's not a lot going on up here. And I think I have to see if it comes to me, because I don't, up here's kind of, I need to bridge the two, you know what I mean? So, I mean, I could just do some more weeds up here. Like this. Weedy looking things. And sometimes duties act on the soul like weeds on a flower. They crowd it out. But don't forget, I know I just said this, but for anybody new, they can also act as fertilizer. So don't forget, they can also act as fertilizer. This is the same pen as this one, but this is a bigger brush. So here's the brush on this one. Do you see that? It's littler. It's like the diameter is less and it's a teeny bit shorter. And honestly, you don't need both. You do not need both. I have both because I'm a pen freak. I am a pen freak, and that is why I have both. But you don't need both. You could totally get by with one. And then, you know, if you later on become more of a pen freak, then you can get another one, you know? And they're not expensive, so they're reasonably priced, and you can hack refill these. You don't have to buy the refills. You can do what I do, which is buy a gigantic bottle of ink like this and refill it. And I did refill one of these pens specifically this month on one of my streams. I think it's day 5. I think it's on day 5. So if you were curious to watch me do it, whichever one it is, it's one of the early ones. I refilled it in the beginning of the stream. So if you scrub you can find it pretty, you know, handily. And I think it's day 5. I remembered that because I was looking for it to do I did a short on it, so you can actually just watch the short too if you want to see how I do it. But I really should do a longer video because there's chambers in this thing, and if you want to make life easy and actually have more ink in here, then there's a piece you have to remove, and I don't do that I did not do that in the stream, and I did not do that on the short either, because you do it once and then you don't have to do it again. So the first time I filled it, I removed that piece. There's like an additional chamber in here. It's actually it's more complicated than it looks. Like, this does not look like a complicated pen. This looks like, oh, okay, there's ink in here. You buy a refill and this part's filled with ink. That's what it looks like. That's not what it is though. It's like got 2 chambers in there, and there's like 2 chambers in there, and the I think it's the innermost chamber you can remove, and you're not going to be in danger of having, you know, your ink leak. So, okay, I'll just show you real quick. Okay. Also, this is counterintuitive because I always feel like I want to open it this way, but you don't. You open it this way. Counterclockwise, which I know lefty loosey, righty tighty, but for some reason with my pens, I always get confused about that. So this little part comes off, this little black stopper, and it's attached to a chamber, and you fill that chamber. And then I'm not going to do it today because, see, it's pretty easy to screw back on. I mean, it's actually, it's very straightforward. Once you're in it, it's very straightforward. But when you're first doing it, it's scary because you're like, wait a minute. What's all these chambers here? What is this? But there's some really good channels. I actually learned how to do it on another channel. There's a guy who does it, and I think the link might be in the day 5. I think the link might be in day 5 of Inktober. So let's see. Should we put the balking of Christopher the Copycat 1914? I want to do that down here because I want to do the attribution to the actual, because part of this is also, you know, I mean, I want other people to like look her up, you know? So if I add the book that this came from and the date, then maybe people will be more like, oh, I want to read that, you know? So let me do this like that. I know my little head's in the way, so I'm going to try and make sure to do that. Okay, this pen is a Fudinasuke. It's a Tombow Fudinasuke. It's a soft, they call it a brush tip, I think, but it's really not. It's like a plastic little nib that's it's got some give to it, right? So normally I would like to keep all in one pen, but then I have to write so small right here that I'm just going to use this one, and then I will flourish it with these. So it will still live in the universe. You know what I'm saying? Because, you know, we want everything to look in the same universe. I don't want to like jarringly take somebody out of the art. Kind of like you're watching a movie and you're like, oh, well, that just took me completely out of the movie right there, you know? Like you're watching a movie and then something happens in the movie, whether it's like a set piece or it's, you know, like something that doesn't flow, like you know, you're watching a character drink a coffee and then all of a sudden the coffee's gone or something like that. It's kind of like that. Like you just, I don't want that. I want it to flow. And I still have some work to do on the top here, sometimes duties, but we'll deal with that later. Let's do this here. The Balking of Christopher, the Copycat. So I think that was like a short story in between a short story and a book, The Copycat, 1914. Let's put the date. No. The Balking of Christopher. That's a long, right? The Balking, we're just going to write it in because I'm not going to sit here and, you know, get too tied up in this, which I already did enough of, so. P-H, can we fit it? Can we fit it? E-R. Oh, that was tight. Okay. The Copycat, that's okay. I generally don't want to do that, but sometimes I like to start from the back. Just so if there is some weird spatial issues, it doesn't look like, maybe it doesn't look like it, right? Maybe it doesn't look like it. Let's do that. And then let's do some little dots because sometimes that just is a little visual separator for when you have a word and you want to make sure that people read it as a separate word, but you don't want to like go in and do something really aggressive. I like to just put a little something in there just to keep, you know, we can do the date with the brush pen though. Let's do that. 1914. I'm making some really big ones. There we go. 1914. All right. Let's add a little extra weeds. And now we're gonna do a little bit more decorative stuff here. And then we're gonna be good. Let me turn you and not drop you again. I don't want to drop you again. I'm gonna do that. How's that? And I'm just gonna move my paper around so I don't have to move you around too much. Okay, we gotta work on the top. Gotta finish this. Gotta finish this. Because I gotta get going. I got another stream to do at 12:30. Gonna do Night Garden Fairy Cats. We're close. We're close to the Night Garden Fairy Cats, to the end of the line there. Okay, let's see. Sometimes we're just gonna do some, let's call it world building. We're gonna do some world building up here. Because we need to add, we need to make this in the same universe. Going to add some of these little lines, and I don't think I'm going to add the face and soul because it's just too much of a commitment and it's not thematically connected, so I don't want to like add in another element, another like thematic element into this when it's chock full right now. You know, it's got enough going on, basically, in other words. There's enough going on in this. I don't need to add a face and soul. That could just look like, did you lose the plot, Kathy, when you were drawing this? What happened? Why did you put a face and soul? I'm just kidding. I mean, I think it would make sense, but it's not really a decorative element or a thematic element in the rest of it, so I'm not gonna just put one in there. Okay, now let's look for some balance now. Okay, so we have some little dibbles in here, and I'm gonna just do some little ones in here. The rest of it, just, you know, again, so it's living in the same universe. I want everything to, you know, work as it should. Together. Work together. Look like it lives in the same, under the same roof, you know? That's what we're going for. Doesn't mean I have to do these little lines all over. I can just do like, I could do like, pick out different types of lines that are also down here to just sort of marry things. Just to marry things. Dun 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 dun. We're just marrying things now. Dun, 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 dun. All right, I'm going to grab my smaller brush. And I also do want to marry a little bit of this writing down here because it's very much not done with the same pen, so like visibly. So I'm just going to add some little flourishes to try and... Okay. Also correcting. I'm trying to course correct over here a little bit. Not much can be done down there, but that's okay. I don't want to start getting too messy down there, you know? Because then it's just going to look like I was trying to fix something, and I don't need to do that. And another thing, speaking of like making mistakes and then fixing them, right? Correcting yourself as you're going and trying to work with what you have, as opposed to like painting over something or opening up a new page and just like getting frustrated, whatever. If you think about the goal for your art, it can kind of change your perspective. So if you're thinking, oh, I'm so frustrated with myself because I did this or I did that, or I, you know, because this isn't looking the way I want it to. You got to think, okay, first of all, what are you doing it for? You doing it for yourself? Then you're just showing your own history of like learning experience, right? Because you did this and that's fine. Just appreciate it for what it is. If you're doing it because you are, what is your goal? Is my goal, oh, I want to make a t-shirt out of this. Okay. So if it's that, you're going to put it into a graphics program anyway, right? Fix it then. It's no big. It's no big. And it's nothing to get frustrated with yourself about, or, you know, have negative feelings about, really. Because it's all experience. Like, it's all just like, and what is it for? If it's for you and your own, you know, pleasure and your own learning, then look, you have a demonstration of something you don't want to do again on a page. Great. Okay. So then, like, that's the best way to learn something, right? Don't want to remember not to do that again. Okay, cool. But that's great. Ha ha, funny, whatever. I remember not to do that again. And then if you're going to make something out of it, you're like, okay, I got to bring that into, you know, Affinity Photo and fix that. I got to remove that later because it's not going to work with the rest of the design. That's fine. Just do that. It's just easy, you know, if that's your goal. If you're going to put this on a t-shirt, if you're going to put this on a notebook, if you got to adjust the artwork, if you need to, if you made a splotch, if it's something's not readable, whatever, take it out, do whatever. You can do it. You can fix it. It's fixable. You know, it's not, am I talking too fast? Did the coffee hit me? You know what I'm saying? You can fix it. You can accept it. You can fix it. You can just make it work for whatever reason you are doing it. Then it is going to serve you in that way. You just have to adjust your own expectations and your own just what you're expecting from it, what you want from it. And definitely do not go the beat yourself up route, because that's just why. Why would you do that? It's just not. Okay, I think we're good. So here's our final. Sometimes duties act on the soul like weeds. I want to strengthen this S a little bit. Connect it into an S. Like weeds on a flower. They crowd it out. And this is by Mary E. Wilkins Freeman, who we learned about today. And thank you, Mary, for sharing your talents with us. I love your writing. Got a lot of really good ones. And we're almost there. There we go. Let me stand up and look at this. Okay. Yeah, good. All right, great. So here we are. I'm going to zoom you out. And let's look at that. Okay, hold on. Let's get the shot. Let's get the shot. Ta-da. Let's see. Let's do our thumbnail. How's that? Hi. This for my thumbnail. All right. I hope you have an awesome day. And I'll be back in like an hour to finish the cover, hopefully, of Night Guarding Fairy Cats. I've been working on this cover for like three days now. Primarily because I just have had to shorten my Night Garden Fairy Cat streams. And also this cover, I'm more like about it because there's a lot of text on it and it's hand lettered text, and I want to make sure that lettering, I should say. I want to make sure that it's readable, but also fits in with the vibe, you know? All right. Have a great day, and I will see you tomorrow for Ethelina White, who is our second makeup. She is our number 2 makeup person from Inktober. I had to reschedule her, and we're going to do her tomorrow. So I hope to see you then. Have a great rest of your day, and happy daylight savings time end. I don't know. Can you even say that? Because now it's going to be dark all the time. It's already been dark all the time. I mean, I'm talking about where I am. And now it's going to be dark like at 2 in the afternoon. So, yay. Okay, I'll see you soon. Bye. I can just do